There comes a moment when the presence of a woman touches the atmosphere before she even speaks a word. A quiet pull that makes someone glance twice without understanding why. It carries no loudness, no force. It resembles that kind of delicate warmth, lingering on the skin like a gentle breath, stirring curiosity and drawing attention without the slightest intention of making an impression. They attempted to write a manual about keeping a man close. They misunderstood it entirely. For generations, we have been handed the same worn-out script. Be compliant, be available, be smaller, become the perfect puzzle piece that fits neatly into his existence. But here is what they never told you. The woman who remains in a man's thoughts at 3 in the morning is not the one who made his days easier, but the one who made it impossible for him to ignore the difference between merely existing and truly living. She is the storm he never saw approaching, the unexpected question that rewrote every answer he thought he possessed, the mirror revealing he had been settling for shadows when he could have reached for sunlight. This has nothing to do with playing games. It concerns remembering you were never meant to play a supporting role in someone else's narrative. What you are about to grasp will break every dating rule you have ever followed. Because the most powerfully magnetic woman in any room is not the one begging to be chosen, but the one who chose herself first. And once you understand why, you will never view love through the same lens again. There exists a certain type of woman whom a man never attempts to control because he is too focused on not losing her. Consider that carefully. She carries something far beyond the surface. It is not tied to physical beauty that captures attention for a moment but fades quickly. Neither is it about manipulation, because tricks may work for a while, but always leave a bitter aftertaste. We are discussing something far deeper, a presence, a mindset, an energy that some men even call dangerous. Why dangerous? Because it is unpredictable and impossible to tame. And above all, because it cannot be possessed. Who is this woman so many overlook? What does she do, or more precisely, what does she refuse to do that ignites this powerful attraction? Why can a man meet 10 seemingly perfect women and forget them the next day, yet never forget the one who does not seem to need him at all? This is exactly where most make their mistake. She thinks she must provide comfort and stability to keep a man. But what if I told you that the very thing making him feel drawn to you is a certain kind of uncertainty? Not yours, but his. A silent, constant awareness that you are a free spirit, a rare treasure he stumbled upon, but who could slip away at any moment. The thought of losing you does not send him into panic. It fuels his desire. In the coming minutes, I will not hand you cheap magazine advice. We are going to do something far more intriguing. We will dismantle the internal mechanics of masculine desire and show you the masterpiece nobody has revealed before. The silent strength of a woman who completely owns herself, a woman who is her own kingdom. Prepare yourself, because what you are about to discover will not only change how others see you, it will transform how you see yourself. To understand this energy, we must first face a difficult truth with complete honesty. Most relationships do not crumble due to grand betrayals or explosive fights. They crumble slowly through boredom, predictability, a silent fading of admiration and desire. They die when they become furniture in the other person's life. Useful, comfortable, but no longer exciting. And the turning point of this shift is the moment you transition from being a privilege to becoming an option. What does this look like in everyday life? It means you transition from being the person whose messages he would open with excitement to the person he responds to tomorrow. From being the priority on Friday night to becoming the backup plan if nothing else works out. It is the difference between a man attempting to enter your world and a man expecting you to disappear into his. If you are no longer an option, write priority in the comments. And now comes the significant question. What creates this difference? What is this quality, this elusive energy that elevates a woman from interesting to unforgettable? As I mentioned, it is not her titles or her income, and however cliché it sounds, it is not the symmetry of her face. It is a particular energy she emits, a frequency on which she naturally vibrates that men perceive almost unconsciously as deeply irresistible, and in a strange way, somewhat intimidating. Irresistible, because it is real. In a world filled with masks and people-pleasing, she stands like a beacon of authenticity. She requires no approval. She already approves of herself. Intimidating because her happiness does not depend on him. And for a man accustomed to being the center of his partner's universe, this shakes his ego. Her calm confidence sends a clear message. My world is wonderful with you, but it will remain wonderful without you as well. This attitude is not a threat, but a declaration. And this emotional independence is exactly what draws him even closer. The promise I make to you in this recording is simple. We will identify this energy, examine it, and learn how to cultivate it. It is not about pretending you do not care. Pretending is weakness. It concerns genuinely engaging in your own life so deeply that your presence becomes naturally magnetic. We will explore why the masculine instinct, shaped by thousands of years of hunting and challenge, reacts so strongly to this type of woman. And you will see why being dangerously attractive has nothing to do with danger and everything to do with self-respect. To understand where this strength comes from, we must enter the heart of a man's internal conflict. It is a duality as old as human history, a constant battle happening inside every man, even if he is not fully aware of it. On one side stands his desire for stability, peace, and comfort. This is the part of him that yearns for companionship, a home, a routine providing calm and order. This is the logical desire, the voice whispering, quote, zero. But on the other side lives a much older instinct, the hunger for challenge, adventure, and the thrill of what feels out of reach. This part does not want a safe harbor. It wants the open sea. It does not yearn for peace but for excitement, not comfort but intensity. This is the voice telling him that something out there will make him feel truly alive. Most women, unknowingly, speak to only one of these sides. Think about the stereotype of the sweet woman, the gentle partner. She embodies safety, offers comfort, agrees with him, adjusts her life around his, softens his stress. Her love is soothing, and at first, this attracts a man. It is simple and pleasant. He feels like the king of a calm, predictable world, without conflict, without chaos. But after a month, after a year, something changes. That gentleness turns into suffocation. He begins feeling a void, as if living in a luxurious cage. Nothing wrong is happening, but that is precisely the problem. Nothing is happening. Zero tension, zero threat, zero electricity. And then the other part of him starts waking up, louder and more impatient. He begins feeling restless, as if something essential is slipping through his fingers. Comfort starts choking him. And then there is the second type you think about when hearing the phrase femme fatale. She embodies adventure, unpredictability, threat. She does not adjust her life to his. She has her own plans, her own goals. She does not wait by the phone. She is busy with her own fascinating existence. Sometimes she responds immediately, other times not for hours, not because she is playing games, but because she has her life. This constantly excites him. He never feels he has won you. He always feels he must earn you. And this uncertainty, this subtle tension stimulates the second, primal part of his nature. Here is the key thing. Most women try to pick a side. They are either completely comfortable but boring, or they try to be exciting but exhausting, either calm or chaotic. But the truly dangerous woman, in the positive sense of the word, does not choose. She embodies both simultaneously. She is a paradox, stable yet unpredictable, present but never completely available, supportive yet independent. This ability to balance ensures a man never feels entirely certain where he stands. He is calm with her, but never completely relaxed. He feels safe, but not bored. And this very combination keeps him continuously feeling that deeper need in her presence. He is neither her slave nor her comfortable companion. He remains constantly stimulated in a way that makes him feel alive. You are probably wondering now, how do you do this? How do you learn this balance? And here is the secret. You cannot learn it. You cannot fake it. This energy is not a technique. It is reality. It is a byproduct of becoming someone who truly loves her life. When you are engaged in your passions, when you have goals filling you with excitement, when your solitude is not an empty room but a rich, personal world, then you naturally radiate this energy. You are not pretending to be busy. You genuinely are busy. You are not pretending you do not need him. You genuinely do not need him, though you enjoy him. And this very authenticity makes you irresistible, because men have built-in detectors for lack of authenticity. They will sense fakeness from afar. But genuine independence, genuine joy, genuine living, that cannot be counterfeited. And there is deeper psychology at play. This relates to something psychologists call perceived value. Men, like all people, instinctively assign value based on scarcity and the effort required to obtain something. If a woman is too available, too predictable, too eager, her perceived value decreases. This is not cynicism, it is natural human reaction. But when a woman has her life, her world, her principles, she becomes scarce. She is not available to everyone. She does not fit perfectly into every schedule, and this automatically raises her value in his eyes. Not manipulatively, but naturally, because she is not pretending. She genuinely is a valuable treasure. Think about it this way. There are two exclusive restaurants. One has reservations available every evening. The other has a waiting list for 3 months. Which seems more valuable, even before you taste the food? The same works with people. The more selective you are regarding your time, the more demanding about your boundaries, the clearer you make it that not everyone gets a place in your life, the more you become someone worth fighting for. It is not about being unavailable for strategy's sake. It concerns genuinely appreciating your time, energy, and presence so much that you become naturally selective. When your life is exciting and fulfilling, you do not give it away desperately to anyone who appears. You give it wisely to those who respect it. And this is what a man feels. Not artificial barriers, but authentic boundaries. Not cold indifference, but warm selectivity. Not lack of interest, but interest with dignity. It is a subtle yet profound difference. One repels, the other magnetizes. Now we are approaching an even deeper truth about why this energy is so powerful. It relates to something I call the presence paradox. See, most people think the way to attract someone is to always be there. Always available, always responding, always showing how much you care. But reality is opposite. True attraction often requires space. It requires absence for presence to carry weight. Think about your favorite meal. If you ate it every day, all day long, it would become tedious. But if you eat it once a week, it remains something exciting. Same with your presence. If you are always available, always there, your presence loses its power. But if you have your own life, your own commitments, your own rhythm, your presence becomes more valuable because it is not guaranteed. Now, people often misunderstand this concept. They think it means playing games, ignoring messages, deliberately creating distance. And that is completely wrong. True space is not strategic, it is authentic. You do not create space, you have a life that naturally requires your time and attention. You do not ignore messages to seem busy. You are busy because your life is filled with meaningful activities. You do not create distance. You have distance because you have your own orbit, your own gravity. Your life does not revolve around him. He is invited into it. And this very authentic unavailability keeps a man engaged. There is no way for him to encompass you because you are too busy encompassing your own life. When he returns to you, after days or hours of separate activities, he finds you alive for your own reasons, glowing with your own internal fire, not depleted from waiting. And this brings us to an even deeper layer: true emotional independence. It sounds like corporate jargon, but let me explain what it truly means. Emotional independence does not mean lack of emotions. It is not about being cold or distant. It concerns the fact that your emotional stability does not come from him. Your happiness is not his responsibility. Your confidence is not dependent on his compliments. Your worth is not determined by his attention. You are already complete, on your own. He adds to this life but does not create it. This is what most women fail to understand. They think showing how much they need him makes him feel important, and initially, it does. But over time, what begins as flattery turns into burden. Because nobody wants to be someone's sole content of happiness. That is too great a responsibility. It is a prison made of love. But when you are emotionally independent, when your happiness comes from multiple sources, your work, your passions, your friends, your solitude, your growth, then his presence is an addition to something already rich, not a filling of emptiness. And this makes him feel inspired, not imprisoned. He feels honored, not burdened. He is drawn because you choose him from strength, not from desperation, from fullness, not from lack, from joy, not from need. And there is another layer. When you are emotionally independent, you do not react to every little thing. You do not dramatize. You do not require constant reassurance. You are stable, not because you suppress emotions, but because you have deep internal anchoring. Your worth does not rise or fall with his mood. Your confidence does not waver with his texts or lack thereof. And this stability, this calm, is incredibly attractive, because it means he can be with you without walking on eggshells. He can be himself, have his days, his moments, and you will not collapse. You are his partner, not his therapist, his companion, not his mother. And this gives him freedom to be himself, and that freedom makes him want to stay, not because he must, but because he chooses, every single day. And now the deepest layer of all. What makes a woman truly dangerous in the best sense is that she is unpredictable, but in a specific way. Not unpredictable in the sense of unstable or chaotic. Unpredictable in the sense of alive, evolving, continuously growing. She is not the same person on repeat. She has depth. She has layers. She is always discovering new aspects of herself, new interests, new goals. This ensures he never feels like he completely understands you. There is always something new to discover, something surprising, something that keeps him on his toes. You see, boredom in relationships does not come from time. It comes from stagnation, from doing the same things, saying the same things, being the same person. But when you are continuously growing, continuously developing, continuously reaching for new challenges, you become a moving target. He cannot pin you down in his mind because you keep changing. And this keeps him fascinated, because just when he thinks he knows you, you show him a new side, a new passion, a new dimension. You are not doing this for him. You are doing this for yourself. But the effect is that he never gets bored. And here is something crucial. This evolution must be genuine. You cannot fake growth. You must actually be engaged in becoming a better version of yourself. Read a book that expands your mind. Take up a new hobby. Set and pursue goals. Face your fears. Step outside your comfort zone. When you do this, when you invest in your growth, you naturally radiate this energy of evolution. And this energy is contagious. It inspires him. It makes him want to grow too, because he sees what is possible. You see yourself not as a static picture, but as a living work of art, continuously shaping itself. And when a man is with such a woman, he feels like he is part of something dynamic, alive, electric. Not just a relationship, but a shared journey toward becoming something more. You are probably wondering now, how do you balance all this independence with actually being in a relationship? How can you be so self-sufficient, yet open to love? This is an excellent question, and the answer lies in the paradox. You do not choose between being independent and being in a relationship. You combine both. You are completely self-sufficient, completely complete on your own. And from this place of fullness, you choose him. You do not need him, but you desire him. This is the crucial difference. Need comes from lack. Desire comes from recognizing value. When you need someone, you give away your power. When you desire someone, you hold your power but choose to share your fullness. And this dynamic changes everything. Because when you do not need him, when you love him from choice rather than from need, that love is purer, stronger, more true. You do not love him because he fills a void. You love him because he adds to something already beautiful. And he feels this. He feels the difference between being needed and being chosen. And choice, that conscious act of selection from abundance, is the most flattering thing he can experience. It makes him feel not like an ambulance, but like a hero. Not like a necessity, but like a privilege. And now let us discuss one of the most misunderstood aspects of this entire dynamic: games. People often hear about creating space, about being independent, about not being too available. And they think it concerns playing games, about creating artificial barriers, about deliberately acting indifferent. And this is a completely wrong understanding. In reality, it is exactly opposite. Playing games is weakness. It comes from a place of fear. It comes from the idea that you must manipulate to be desired. And men will sense this, and ultimately, it repels them. The true attractiveness we are discussing is not a strategy. It is a state of being. You do not create artificial space. You have a genuine life requiring your time. You do not pretend indifference. You genuinely have options and are selective. You do not manipulate his emotions. You manage your boundaries. This is not a game. This is a standard of living. And this very authenticity separates the truly magnetic woman from someone just playing. One can be sensed from afar. Her energy is pure. The other leaves an impression of something false. People, especially men, have remarkable ability to sense intentions. They may not be able to articulate it, but they feel when something is artificial. But when your independence is genuine, when your boundaries are authentic, when your selectivity comes from actual self-worth rather than fear or manipulation, they will sense that too, and it will attract them like a magnet. Because in a world full of facades, authenticity is rare, and rarity is valuable. Now we are approaching the practical part. How do you actually embody this energy in life? How do you become this woman we have been discussing? The first thing is understanding this is not an overnight transformation. It is a process, a journey. And the journey begins with one fundamental shift in mindset. Stop seeing yourself as someone who must be chosen. Start seeing yourself as someone who chooses. This completely reverses the dynamic. Instead of asking if he likes you, start asking if he meets your standards. Instead of trying to fit into his life, start evaluating if he fits into yours. Instead of worrying if you are good enough for him, consider if he is good enough for you. This shift in mindset is not arrogance. It is proper recognition of your worth. And when this mindset shifts internally, it shifts externally too. Your energy changes. Your posture changes. Your presence changes. Second thing, you must actually invest in your life. This is not optional. You cannot pretend to have an exciting life. You must actually create it. This means identifying your passions and actively pursuing them. This means setting goals and working toward them. This means building a community of people who value you. This means creating a life so rich, so satisfying, that a man can join it but cannot create it or destroy it. Third thing is establishing and maintaining boundaries. And this is where most women fail. They have boundaries, but they do not enforce them. They allow people to cross them again and again, fearing conflict, fearing loss. But here is the truth. When you allow people to cross your boundaries, you are not protecting the relationship. You are destroying it. Because you lose respect, first his, then your own. True boundaries are non-negotiable. They are not proposals. They are laws. These are your non-negotiable principles. Write 3 to 5 rules that nobody can break if they want to be in your life. For example, I do not accept disrespect. My time for my passions is sacred. I do not accept unclear or inconsistent communication. These are not wishes, these are your laws, and you must follow them without exception. These laws are your constitution, and here is the key part. You do not need to announce them. You must live them. If someone breaks one of your laws, you do not argue, you simply respond with calm action. And that action is often the silent removal of your time and attention. And yes, fear appears. What happens if he leaves when I establish boundaries? But that is not the right question. The real question is, why would I want a man who cannot respect my fundamental values? If you respect your values, write RESPECT in the comments. Your real energy and boundaries are not rejection. They are the strongest filter. They repel the boy seeking a mother, the insecure one needing validation, and the lazy one seeking a caretaker. And attract only one type of man, the one who is not afraid of your strength, but is inspired by it. The one not seeking a princess to rescue, but a queen with whom to build a life. It is fascinating how all this works. We started searching for the key to the masculine mind, and ultimately discovered that this key was never meant for his door, but for ours. The goal was never to become the object of his desire. The goal has always been to become the subject of your own life. The behavior men find dangerously captivating is not a trick. It is a side effect. It is the scent emanating from a woman deeply in love with her own life, comfortable in her solitude, and who has transformed her existence into art. Because the most attractive and powerful woman is not the most beautiful, nor the youngest, nor the most famous. It is the woman who needs no one, but still chooses to share her extraordinary world with the one who proves he deserves a place in it. Let us break down this idea because it contains everything. Not needing someone does not mean being closed off or incapable of loving. It means your joy, your confidence, and your peace are not for sale and are not tied to anyone's approval. It means you know nobody will come save you because you are your own heroine. It means that even if you had to live your life alone, though you do not desire that, you would still be at peace and fulfilled. And when you reach this place, the next part becomes magic. But I choose it consciously. When you do not need a man to love him, it becomes the purest gift you can offer. It is not a choice made from fear of being alone, or from pressure, or to fill a void. It is a choice made from wholeness. My life is already complete, but your presence adds more light. I do not need you to survive. I choose you to live better. Is there anything more attractive? You are telling him you are a luxury, not a necessity. Look within yourself at how many times you have shrunk your dreams to fit within the limits of other people's expectations. How many times you have softened your voice, your opinions, your fire, just to not seem too much, too intense, too intelligent, too driven. The ultimate paradox about attraction is this. The moment you stop trying to be attractive and start being real, creating a life that excites you, you become magnetic, because energy never lies. People are not attracted to perfection, but to vitality, honesty, passion. They are attracted to those who are completely alive. And nobody is more alive than a woman who reigns over her own internal kingdom. And now we arrive at the end of this path. But the end of the path is only the beginning of your journey. And one question remains, the most important one. Will you continue playing a supporting role in others' stories, or will you choose to write your own script, direct it, and star in it? Because for too long, we were taught a harmful idea about love. That love means shrinking, holding back, making yourself small. We were told to be less loud, less demanding, less complex, to be accepted, lower our standards so as not to frighten anyone, adapt, be chosen. But now you know that was the biggest lie. Making yourself small attracts only those who live in small spaces. Diminishing your dreams is creating space for someone without vision. Silencing your voice empowers those who have nothing meaningful to say. The true act of love, the strongest one, is not for someone else, it is for yourself. It lies in the promise to never betray the real woman inside you just to match an image someone else wants. It is choosing to build a life so complete, so rich, so deeply yours, that being alone feels like luxury and companionship feels like an honored choice. Because ultimately, the goal is not finding the perfect man, but becoming a woman so complete, so powerful, and so free that any man entering your life must be exceptional to stay. So do not lower yourself to enter his world. Elevate yourself and expand yours. Make it so bright, so alive, so bold that he dreams of being part of it. Here we offer no cheap tricks. Here we elevate real spirits. If this message touches something in you, if you believe in this strength born from self-respect, then you have found your place. Join us. A community of women who do not wait, they build. The greatest love story you will create is not about finding someone who completes you. It is remembering you were never incomplete. All fairy tales lied. The princess was never saved by the prince. She simply stopped pretending she needed rescue. The queen was never crowned by someone else. She recognized the crown that was always hers. You spent years learning how to be chosen. Now learn to be unavailable. And watch how quickly the world reforms around your refusal to shrink. The woman who changes everything does not announce her arrival with noise. She simply enters a room and the atmosphere shifts. She does not demand attention. Life leans toward her because she became the sun of her own universe. This is your invitation to stop being a visitor in your own story. The throne was never empty. You simply forgot you were sitting on it. Now rise. Ultimately, all this message leads to one truth. A woman's true power begins the moment she chooses herself. When she stops shrinking to fit into someone else's life and begins expanding her own, everything around her changes. She no longer waits to be chosen, rescued, or validated. She becomes the author of her own story, the ruler of her own internal world, and the source of her own peace. And from that place of strength, the love she offers becomes a conscious choice, not a need. The right man will not be attracted to her because she gives everything away, but because she stands in her worth. The true transformation is not about impressing anyone. It concerns remembering who you are, rising in that truth, and allowing the world to adjust to your presence. This is how a woman becomes the type of person who inspires respect, loyalty, and deep connection. If you choose yourself, write queen in the comments. This is how she becomes the queen of her.